Just that firm. They're there for their clients year-round, not just during tax season, to handle your needs and answer any questions you may encounter. At Robson, Scribner, and Stewart, there is no client too small or too large. Their expertise ranges from the single individual to the largest of corporations. Get your return prepared by a professional who will use their years of experience to ensure that your tax return's outcome will leave you in the best possible position. Call them today at 694-4184. Robson, Scribner, and Stewart. They're there for you today. Again, that number is 694-4184. Time is of the essence, so don't delay. 694-4184.
All right, just about 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. It doesn't get any more beautiful than this. My gosh, the weather is just so nice. Temperatures right now, I guess, getting near 60. The last time I looked, it was 56, so I'm guessing we're getting near 60. Mid-80s today is the high, and that partly cloudy skies into the mix. That's it. It's going to be beautiful today all through the weekend. If you've got a 4-day weekend, go have some fun. Do something outdoors. You live in a beautiful place, and this is, probably the best time of year here in Florida. Byna Elliott is on the phone. Byna is the Senior Vice President and Director of Community and Economic Development for Fifth Third Bank, and they did a study. They called it the YouGov study. Well, let's find out what that study reveals and how we can benefit from the information in it. Good morning, Byna, again.
Good morning, Larry and Robin.
Thank you. Robin will be here in just a moment. She's on the other line, as they say. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Michigan, so I got to admit that I was really jealous of your weather report.
Oh, really?
That is not a report.
Yeah. This is sometimes in the summer, especially if you're from up north. If you're from Michigan, you come down in July and August. You can't wait to get home. It's so hot. But this is the beautiful time of year right now.
I am jealous. Our high is 40, 45 maybe.
Is that right?
And cloudy.
See, we're out of touch because it's right now it's the paradise that you heard about in all those Florida ads.
Yeah.
So what is the study, the YouGov study? What is that?
The YouGov study is one that we've commissioned every year for the last few years to really find out what are on the minds of our consumers and how we can help them as a bank really achieve their financial goals. And this year's study was really surprising. We asked our consumers around their top priorities around their financial well-being, and we were shocked that what we thought was going to be the clear answer, had been the clear answer for years, is owning a home would be their top priority. And our consumers said, not this year.
Really?
They decided that really saving for an emergency, having enough money in the banks, and saving for themselves, and saving for retirement are important things that matter to them. And in fact, paying off debt was 43% of their financial goals, and home ownership was 15% as a financial goal. So we found that our consumers had really changed in terms of what their priorities were around financial goals.
Wow. Well, that sort of reflects mine as well. I'm wondering why everybody else feels that way, though. I'm wondering why, because usually home ownership is associated with having, in 15 years, the rent isn't going to be as much as it would have been if you were renting the whole time. I mean, the mortgage won't be as much.
So I really have a theory. One, initially I was shocked, and then I started to think about what happened during our last downturn in the economy, where consumers saw their biggest asset and their biggest investment, the one they worked the hardest for, decline in value, or in some cases they lost that asset.
Yeah.
And they really redefined what financial security means to them. And it's not home ownership today. I'd love for it to be home ownership eventually, but I am excited about the decisions they are making. They've decided, based on the way they're responding in the survey, is that they want to own and be responsible for their own financial security. And I'm excited about consumers taking that opportunity to own their own destiny.
Absolutely, yeah. If you can get that debt down, you will be in a better position to buy a house when you're ready.
And it's unexpected.
Did the survey encompass the self-discipline area? Because that's been always my problem. We'd start to save, and then all of a sudden something might come up, and then I would dip into that money and think I'm going to replenish it, but I never do.
I think that's a challenge for a number of us, Robin, to be quite honest. So the study didn't go into changing behaviors, but it just talked about what drove that and what impacts their decision making. But I think what we're doing during Financial Capability Month, which is to provide education to consumers free of charge throughout our footprint around how they can begin to start the path around savings, it will really help to change some of that behavior. But a lot of that is learned, created through just habit, and so it's really around getting a good plan, really getting started on that path that will change that behavior, and really having a lot more discipline about it. It requires you to say, I will not dip into that for discretionary activities. It requires you to say, I'm going to save for a rainy day in a separate fund so I won't dip into my primary savings account. It just requires us to do a lot of things differently. And unfortunately, Robin, you're not alone. A lot of us do that and have to really start all over again a number of times. But the good thing is we're starting all over again and not giving up.
So does the product inventory, I guess you can put it that way for a bank, does the product inventory change, or do you add new ideas to what we have available as customers based on the study results?
So I think we've done a number of things. One is we realize that consumers need access to their dollars differently over time, and that you actually have to provide products and services to meet consumers where they're at on the continuum of their life. So consumers today that might need immediate access to their money. So one of the things the study showed us is that 44% of consumers that we talk to still live paycheck to paycheck, which means that they are not at the point where they can save, but they do need readily access to their money at a reasonable cost or no cost. And so last year we introduced a product called Express Banking, designed for just that set of consumers. And so it really does expand our set of products that we provide, but it also does allow us to also enhance the ones we have in place today.
And did the study give you different results for different demographics? In other words, was the 20-something person having different results, the different answers than the 50-something person?
I would say there wasn't a big distinction, but overwhelmingly the priorities for all of consumers were paying off debt, saving for themselves, and saving for retirement. And that really cut across all the demographics.
Oh, wow. And did the fears of the future play a role? Was that discussed? For example, we always hear that Social Security may not be around, that kind of thing. Did that play a role in their answers?
I think it did, because if you think about the third answer was saving for retirement, which means that people aren't counting on the federal government or those entitlement programs potentially to be their only safety net. But they realize they have to really save for themselves, their retirement, and manage their own plan for retirement.
Well, when people are living together or they're married, do you recommend that they all have joint accounts, or should there be some individual accounts?
I would say, I think it really depends on, the individual and how they manage money and how they work together. I've been married 20 years, and we've never had a separate account. We've always jointly managed our dollars, and I also think that collective working together and collaboration helped us achieve our goals quicker, but that might not always be the case for another individual. So I'd say it really does depend on how your partner manages money and how safe and comfortable you are shifting and really coalescing all your resources together. But I do think it's important to save, and I do think it's important to collectively make decisions on your big priorities as a family unit.
So what would the advice be to a young couple that decides not to buy a house, and 10 years from now they change their mind about that and they do want to buy a house? One of the things I've heard is that we should have at least 3 credit cards or 3 lines of credit that are open, even if you don't have much that you owe. Just keep paying it every month, as opposed to having no credit card. Is that still true, that having credit cards is better when it's time to apply for a loan than having no credit cards at all?
It does make a difference having credit lines or trade lines that a bank or company can look at to see how you pay your bills. So having credit cards with zero balances but are open and active lines are important as part of your credit profile. The other thing I would really encourage is if you put off if you put off owning a home and rent it, really manage the cost of your rental. We are seeing in the study, and what I know from some of my friends, is that your rental payment is a substantial part of your income right now. And so you don't want to live in the fanciest high rise with all the bells and whistles, because it might prevent you from saving money. So you really want to live within your means and really put the dollars away for a rainy day. And one of those goals might be to own a home. And rather than getting into your first home with a 3% down payment, which is really just over what you borrowed, you want a bigger cushion. I would say one of the biggest challenges we had in the downturn in the economy is very little people had equity in their homes. And so when the values declined, they were in essence renters that owned a home.
Byna, thank you for being on.
Value.
Thank you for being on the air with us today. What is the website that we can direct our listeners to?
53.com Life, and that's our program for life improved through financial empowerment. And they can find out about programs and education classes that are in their community. They'll also see calculators and articles and tips on how they can begin the path of saving money and really taking their destiny in their own hands. And lastly, I'd say stop by one of your local branches. Consumers today are not using banks for all of their transactions because of technology. You can bank on your phone. So spending time with your banker in the branch, talking to them face-to-face about your financial goals and seeking their assistance and letting them become your financial buddy and holding you accountable for you achieving your goals might be a good tool as well.
Absolutely. Again, Byna Elliott, thank you so much for being on the air with us today. The website she gave us is 53.com, the numerals, 53.com/life. And get yourself. We don't have pensions anymore in this world, so
no.
So we have to take care of our own selves and our own futures. Good information, Byna. Thank you for sharing it with us today.
Thanks, Larry and Robin. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, we will be right back.
Howdy, folks. RL here for Dairy Queen Silver Springs. It's a new year full of good stuff and good food. So come on down to DQ at Silver Springs and start it off right. Because we've got things for your heart's delight. Chicken strips and pepper gravy and slaw or chili dogs, oh so savory. Codfish and grilled burgers too, made to order just for you. Creamy and frosty, blizzards and shakes, and all kinds of flavors for goodness sakes. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Hi, I'm Big Daddy Don Garlitz, asking you to support adoption by purchasing a Choose Life license plate from your county tag office. You know it costs a lot to give a child life. Many times a woman is forced to make a bad choice because of financial pressures. Help save the lives of the unborn children by aiding women whom choose life instead of abortion. Take a stand for life. Purchase your Choose Life license plate today. For more information, go to chooselife.org or call 352-624-2854.
Here is your 30-second news brief. The federal government has agreed to provide $1.5 billion to repay Florida hospitals that treat the poor. The female whose body was found in Orange County has been identified as a 15-year-old girl. The Florida Senate has approved a plan to build a southern reservoir to filter water from Lake Okeechobee, and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission has moved 9 scrub jays from the Ocala National Forest to the Seminole National Forest to boost the bird's population. And that is your news brief from the source.
Cookies, 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 cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
When you want something special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. King Cookie in the Paddock Mall in Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. So next time you're in the mall, stop by King Cookie or call 352-237-2557. KingCookieOcala.com. Customized cookies, cakes, and more. King Cookie.
Eating cookies. We're so happy eating cookies. Cookies!
Animus Foundation is the name of the Ocala-based nonprofit sanctuary dedicated to the rescue and rehabilitation of wild and domestic animals. Animus, plainly stated, needs your 100% tax-deductible donation, which will go directly to animal care. This sanctuary is run solely on donations. There are so many questions to answer. Please call 843-6379, and they will explain to you how these creatures that live among us are cared for. Please call 843-6379. Thank you. Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion, and learn how they can help you.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Partly sunny skies on this Thursday. It'll become breezy in the afternoon. High 77 along the coast, 82 inland. And mainly clear Thursday night. Lows in the mid and upper 50s and a few inland spots, about 67 along the coast. For Good Friday, partly sunny, breezy in the afternoon. High 79 on the coast, 84 inland. For Saturday, a breezy day with sun and some clouds. High 80 along the coast, 85 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Ocala's information station.